Welcome to the Refine and Shine, the podcast dedicated to mastering the art of continuous improvement and optimizing every aspect of your life. I'm Angelina Rivera, your host, and together we'll uncover the secrets to refining our lives, our habits, and our processes to unlock our inner brilliance. Join us on Refine and Shine, where we'll delve deep into achieving more in life without the burnout and without all the stress. This podcast is your platform for a more fulfilling life through continuous improvement and personal growth. In each episode, I and a diverse array of guests discuss practical strategies for up-leveling every aspect of your life. From developing good habits and organizing your space to refining your mindset and personal goals, we're going to explore it all. Our guests share personal stories about the systems they developed or systems they've used and the tweaks they've made in their lives when refinement was needed, allowing them to truly shine. Listen to Refine and Shine to learn how you can implement continuous improvement techniques in your daily routine, develop and maintain healthy habits that lead to success and satisfaction, organize your life to reduce the stress and increase your productivity, foster a growth mindset that propels you to new heights. My mission is to inspire you to take bold action, make positive changes, and become the best version of yourself. Whether you're aiming to elevate your career, nurture meaningful relationships, or enhance your overall well-being, Refine and Shine is your guiding light. With over 25 years of experience in continuous improvement, I help businesses streamline their processes, establish efficient work areas, and implement standard work protocols. I have trained over 600 individuals and teams in process improvement, optimizing workflows, and enhancing overall operational efficiency. Tune in every week as we embark on an enlightening journey, exploring paths to refinement and illuminating the way to shine in every area of our lives. Subscribe now and join us on this journey to polish your life and let your best self shine through. Thank you for joining us on Refine and Shine. All right. Good morning or good afternoon or whatever time zone or whatever it is where you're listening to. Thank you all for joining us on this episode of the Refine and Shine podcast. I have a very special, amazing guest on today. Jordan is an amazing person. She's a friend. I really got to know her this past year and a half. We did a mastermind together and we have continued our friendship and our relationship, and we talk a lot. And I'm so honored that she's here today to join us. She is a 13-year seasoned fitness instructor and a very accomplished network marketer with 10 years of experience as an entrepreneur and digital marketer. She excels at helping busy individuals make a social media impact with her coaching services and prides herself on helping people achieve their goals and reach their fullest potential. And exciting news that she's going to be starting a podcast soon. And so I'm so excited to have her here with you today. Welcome, Jordan.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is going to be fun. Jordan, if you've ever met Jordan, she's just so amazing. She brings a light and she really shines brightly, but it hasn't always been this way for her. I know that a lot of times people look at people and think, oh my God, they have it so easy, or their life seems so great. But Jordan's been through a lot of obstacles in her life and faces challenges like every one of us does, but she continues to show up every day, and her consistency in showing up, especially if you follow her social media, it is amazing. But Jordan, it hasn't always been that way, correct?
No, not at all, for sure. I think that a lot of us have gone through a lot of things, but I think that one thing I've gotten through coaching is you're going to have different obstacles all throughout your life, but you need to learn how to be that constant and you have to learn how to be consistent and show up for the things that you want. Because one part of your life, it might be this thing, but then another part of your life, it's going to be this thing. Well, your goal doesn't change. So you have to learn how to be consistent.
I love that. I love that you talk about consistency. And that's one of the things that I talk about. And one of my shine principles is you need to, like, S stands for you need to show up every day. Like, show up for whatever you're working on. You need to show up every day. And so you've been through many challenges in life, and you were in your network marketing career. You were went to the top, one of the top six-figure level income earners at a very young age. Can you talk about a little bit about that journey and what lessons you learned and all the things that you've had so that you can shine today?
Yeah, that whole journey has been so amazing. It started when I was 19. So I got into this business by accident completely. I just wanted to feel better. And so whenever a close friend of mine was sharing about the products that really were helping her and her husband, I was like, okay, she's not just going to say stuff just to say stuff. So I tried it, fell in love with it. And whenever we met, she was saying, Chris and I were getting these things in the mail for helping people we don't even know what we're really doing. This was a long time ago in 2013. And I was like, it's great for you guys, but that's never going to be me. I just want to take the products and teach my little fitness classes, and like, I'm fine. Well, I joined specifically to get the products cheaper, and I started posting before my products even came in the mail. And so I was like, Jordan, if you're feeling this way as a fitness instructor, as an athlete, I know for a fact your students feel that way. And I know for a fact other people in your life feel that way. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to just post about it, share my journey, because maybe it will help somebody, because I don't want people to feel the way that I did. And it's just been amazing. It's funny how you get connected to certain parts of the world and parts of like America. So we had a team in Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, New York. It's probably been one of my favorite places I've gotten to go, to help team and, see them build relationship. But just been really, really amazing to get to use social media to impact so many people.
I love that. And I love that you say, you were 19. So that's very young. And a lot of people think that at 19 years old they don't know enough people. And you just, showed that it doesn't matter who you know, you can have a voice, you can show up consistently, you can share the troubles that you're going through, and the health issues, and it's so many people are going to relate to that, and there's a very impactful way that you can share that with anybody in the world by use of social media, and you're one of the best people at social media. And so tell me a little bit of how you got into the digital marketing.
Yeah, so I started doing the whole social media thing when I was 17. So when I was 17, I became a Zumba fitness instructor. And I had already kind of watched all of my friends who had been teaching, how they were posting about their classes, how they got more people in their circle to get into their classes. And so it kind of started there, where I was posting when I was teaching, what I was doing, sharing a little bit about, okay, I'm eating this. People would ask me, what do you eat? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Here's what I eat. And so it kind of happened organically. And then when I started Plexus, I took all of that and did the same thing. I was posting about testimonies, the products, and just kind of like it built from there. My parents also own an online boutique. And so I helped them out with their marketing. And through all of those experiences, I just kind of grew to love social media. And I've taken courses along the way, but definitely self-taught. YouTube is amazing. So I'm a huge believer in, like, you can learn anything on YouTube. Like, it's fine if you cry because you're like, this is so overwhelming, but just take it slow and just know, like, you're not supposed to be good at it because you've never done it before. So have your like grace for yourself. But I think that it's just such an amazing tool that people can use to really, really help people. And so if people shift it and look at it like that, staying consistent is the best thing that you can do, and that should be your focus for if you want to be an influencer, business coach, anything. It's just awesome.
I love how you share that. And one of the things that you also do is that you also coach people. And one of your major things that you do, besides doing your health and wellness, is that you teach people how to use social media. Can you talk a little bit about how you made that another thing that you coach on?
Yeah, so I help people by making it super simple. So a lot of people struggle with, how does Instagram work? How do I use these features? What do I even put in my stories? What should even post about? Especially if you're new and you have all these ideas, you're like, okay, but how do I get my message out there? And so we make it really simple by helping people figure out what it is that they should post each week, and also talking about ideas for stories. We teach over on our Instagram, like different features, things you can do. It's it's just interesting because it's a different way of posting that has never happened. And I believe it started in like 2020. And so before then, it was a lot of like just throw a picture up on Instagram if it's cute, but now it's video. And so video is amazing. And I love pulling it out of people because they get to be themselves. And that's like the best part about this new way of social media. And I love helping people just see that. And, taking videos of what you do every day is a great way to start. But if you work with someone that knows how to use good hooks or knows what to put in your caption or other fun technical things that you could use just to make it easier, like that's what we love to do.
I love that you talk about just showing what you do every day and it's being that authentic self, being true to who you are. And I think that so many people in the marketing field are so, some people are turned off by it because they're like, well, I couldn't do what you do. The thing is what you need to do is just be you.
Mhm.
People buy from the stories tell. So if you are true to yourself, you are going to be able to help others. And no matter what you do, whether it's like what I focus on is I do health and wellness and helping people who have been through the menopausal age and things like that, but also help people with time management because I'm a busy person and they're like, how do you do it all? Well, time management. And it's just whatever systems that you're putting into place, you can apply it to anything that you do. And I think the way that you do social media and you help people and coach people and showing up to be their authentic self is not that hard. They just have to wrap their brains around it and you have simple, easy tools that you use. And I love that about you.
Thank you. I love it. It's so fun.
One of the things that I love about what you share about too is like you talked a little bit about like what are you eating or what are you making, and you have so many helpful recipes and tips and like the cottage cheese thing. So
Cottage cheese is life. I'm obsessed. And I didn't like it when I was younger. My dad would always eat it. And I was like, that's disgusting. But you guys, if you're not on the cottage cheese trend, like you need to get on it. It's so good. Like cottage cheese queso, that is my jam right now.
oh, tell me about that. What do you do with your cottage cheese? And you just mix regular
You
cheese
just
or?
you blend cottage cheese and cheddar cheese together. That's it. And then you add taco seasoning. It's amazing. Like it gives you that fix if you're on like a journey, but it's really, really good.
Yeah, I love that. You not only share, the things that have helped you with the supplements and just not only that, it's the fitness, the working out, moving your body, and then the recipes to go with it. Because one of the things is you can work out and work out and work out, but if you're going to go and drink a diet soda and a bag of chips afterwards, it just totally defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
You look at how to make people more well-rounded in all aspects of their life. So I love that. So tell me a little bit about, I know that life hasn't always been easy though, right? I mean, you're shining so brightly today. Has there been any significant impact or any impacts in your life, or maybe one or two, that really helped change your point of view and help you refine your habits in order to make you shine today the way that you do?
I mean, so many. I'm like, where do you want to start, girl? I think a huge, huge thing going back to a little bit with it kind of is along the lines with my business too. So I had hit the top of the we're not top of the company. I hit the like six-figure area with the company when I was 21, almost 22. And then what's interesting is like things continuously come into your life, you have to learn to be
Mhm.
consistent. This is somewhere that I wasn't consistent. So I really hadn't worked on my mindset. I hadn't worked on my worth. And so if you are somebody that overworks, that's me. I'm recovering from that. And I was putting all of my focus into my work and I was like, get this goal, let's go before you're 22. This is the thing. I hit it. And then a few months later, like I ended up like dating somebody that was not good for me. And it was definitely an abusive relationship. And I believe that a lot of women fall into this because they don't really work on themselves and they don't have that self love. They put it somewhere else. And so for me, I was like work, work, work all the time, like since I started working at 17. And so I put my all into my fitness classes, then I put my all into my network marketing company. And then I was like, oh, like I want to get married and like all the things. And so then I found like the worst person ever because I didn't have that worth. And so
Mhm.
after, but do you think the consistency was there in my business? Absolutely not. It was like crash everywhere, just absolutely shattered. And so, because of the business, I was able to go travel and kind of figure out who Jordan was. But that process took a very, very long time. And for me, my business didn't look the same whenever I came out of that. And it was a really, really hard time for me coming back and kind of resurfacing. If anyone's ever been through that, you kind of feel like that thing happens. And then it's kind of like you're in a blackout, but you're not, if that makes any sense. And then you come out of it and you're like, where is everybody? What happened? Like, why does life look different than when it did X amount of time ago? And so I really had to figure out, number one, who I was. I was now in my mid 20s. Who is Jordan now? What are the values that she has? I had moved out on my own and just trying to figure out life. And that was really, really difficult. I think if I hadn't had good mentors in my life, it would have been worse. But I'm gonna have one of them on my podcast. I love Pam so much. But I think that if you are going through something like that, you have to find a mentor. But I also would say if there's any like women listening to this and they're very driven, I love that for you. But I want you also to have that same amount of love and drive for who you are and the values and what you bring to the table that's not like your performance, it's just who you are. It's your being, and like work on loving yourself. Because I will be honest, and I hear it often in this business, like you hit a certain threshold and you're like, well, this is all I've worked for 3 years. But it didn't fill that massive void inside of me. And so it's like, what's next? And so really working on that. There's a tree graphic that one of our mentors, Brooke, shared, and it was a tiny baby tree. And then you see all of the roots underneath it, and it's like you don't really see all the growth that's happening as it's happening. So just take that time for yourself, because if you work on yourself, the success, the consistency, the things that come into your life, it's not going to throw you as much. And so that's something that I wish that I had worked on earlier in my life. I wouldn't have been in that relationship. I wouldn't have been inconsistent in so many areas of my life. I wouldn't have been in certain situations. And I think I would have had like more respect for myself. And so that has definitely gotten a lot better through a lot of different things. But that's a huge, huge thing I'm passionate about, because like we're around so many driven women, but if there's something that you're not like, if you're beating yourself up 24/7, like nothing is going to fulfill you. And so you really have to go inside and do the hard work.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Are you feeling overwhelmed by your never-ending to-do list? Do you wish you had more hours in the day to achieve your goals? Join us for an exclusive free time management webinar where I, Angelina Rivera, will share powerful tips and strategies to help you take control of your time and boost your productivity. In this webinar, you're going to learn effective time management techniques and tips in order to declutter your space and your mind. Whether you're a busy professional, an entrepreneur, or just someone looking to make the most out of each day, this webinar is designed for you. Imagine accomplishing more without the burnout and all the stress. It is possible, and I can show you how. Don't miss out on this opportunity to refine your daily routine and shine in every aspect of your life. Register now and transform your time management skills. Visit the link in the show notes to secure your spot. Remember, great things happen when you take control of your time. I cannot wait to see you there.
Yes, I so agree. And that was one of the my first episode on my launch was about the burnout. And when you are so driven and so focused and you don't deal with the pain that you're going through, and you end up with, crashing. In my case, I ended up hospitalized, and it was like you have to show up for yourself, and every day you have to celebrate. That's E in my shine principles, is every day you have to celebrate your wins. Like there were
Yeah.
times when I would just celebrate that I got out of bed, because when I was dealing with constant migraines, the fact that I would get up and was able to brush my hair and brush my teeth, that was a win when I couldn't even function on days. And that's so important too, is that even though you talk about you wouldn't have had that relationship or things like that, like no matter what, you still learned lessons from it. And so like when God puts us through a journey, we can look at like regret, or what did I learn from that? And
Mhm.
so later on from that relationship, you knew what you wanted when you found your amazing husband, and you knew what you would tolerate, and what you had your standards set. And I think that's very important. Like, whatever thing or mistakes or anything that we go through, that we learn from those things, and that we make sure we have good standards, not only for ourselves, but the relationships that we have as well, the people that we surround ourselves with. I think that's so important. And one of the things you talked about was, just making sure you have, love yourself, your worth. And I think that's very important. When I talk to people about their time management, I always tell them the first thing that you schedule is you schedule time for your self care. That's the first number one thing, because if you're not taking time to care for yourself, that's showing, and you plug in all your meetings and your Zooms and all the other things, like your work, that's showing yourself that you don't matter. When,
Mhm.
no, at the end of the day, it's you who matters. It's making sure you have that date night scheduled with your spouse, so that you have that loving relationship and things like that. Your family, yourself and your family come first, and then you schedule everything else around it, because that's the way that you can have perfect life balance. And so I think that's so important. So thank you for sharing about making sure that your worth is important, because that's so important.
It's huge.
Um,
Yes. I love it.
it's I think that a lot of people, and like you said, you reach the top, or, near the top. I mean, six figures is a significant amount of money. And
Yeah.
that to be made at the age of 21 is so amazing. It took me many years working full time before I got six figures, but I was so happy. But then it was like, I had already worked on some of my growth. So it wasn't like, what's next? It was like, okay, how am I going to make this the best? But it took many years of learning and going through the journey. And how do I refine my habits? How do I make it? But ultimately making sure I was there for my family, and not, and then when it got to the point where I was working the 6 days a week, and starting to get that burnout, and I was like, this is the job that I took, and I was like, how do I change? Like, what else can I do to change my life? And that was taking a job way far away from my family, but it also allowed for more flexibility to be home more. And it kind of didn't make sense to a lot of people, but it makes sense. And so those are the things that you got to look at too, is when you're evaluating your situation, or you're looking at things, making sure that you're balancing what's right for your family, and not what's right for everybody else in the world, because it's not their life. So I think that's also important.
Absolutely.
So, so tell me about your podcast that you're launching soon. When is it going to come out? Where can people tune in?
We are going to be launching it on August 15th. So that's really exciting. It's called the Simplifying Healthy podcast. I love to simplify everything, whether it's social media or health. So everything is going to be talking about just the simple things that people have done to change their life. It's not just around health, it's around business, relationships. I have one of my big mentors coming on, and she has mentored so many women. And all of them have been very successful. And so I can't wait to hear from her, the things that she really does for herself that's simple, because she's been very constant. She's never been someone that rides those emotional roller coasters. She's very constant. So just really people that, have done the things, and I want to hear about the habits they do. What are the things that we can do to really feel the way that they do and get what they want? And so it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait.
Oh, I love that. And that's one of the things, like, you and I were talking, and we were walking a couple of months ago, and it was like, I was like, okay, I still want to start the podcast, and I hadn't started it yet. And I was just talking about, we were just brainstorming, and I'm like, I got stuff to say, and it's like a lot of different things. And I had that fear, though, that people didn't care, or would they want to listen. And sometimes some of the podcasts sound very familiar, similar in some, but we all have a different aspect on how we're bringing in it. Um, Mine's, about the continuous improvement and little tweaks that you can make, or, to refine and shine. And this, the whole thing is that we interact with people differently, and what we may have the same person we're interviewing, but we have a different perspective in the way of looking at it. And I think that's so important. I think that people, we're going back to, you talked about the growth and making sure that you're growing and things like that. I think people don't put themselves in enough rooms, or they just read a book and think they're done. You have been one of continuous growth, and you have been in numerous types of events. And so tell me, when did you start your growth journey in learning how to be a business entrepreneur, and what has that looked like for you?
I'm like, man, I don't even know where to start. Um, so I think when I was 17, I wanted to open a gym. My good friend here in Oklahoma, she had a studio, so I sort of got to see what that life was like. And that quickly changed my dream. I was like, maybe not, but I do love helping people, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'll do something. And so when I got into this business, I was around people that were growing at such a large, like rate. And so I started following them and seeing what they were doing. And I think the first thing I can remember is I started reading books. My friend who got me into the business started, sending them to me because I was young. I didn't really know anything. I was in college. And I remember she sent me a YouTube video to Mel Robbins. And it was whenever Mel Robbins was like first discovered at TED Talk. And I have watched that video so many times, it's not even funny. And so I think the books and then Mel has really helped me just get started and fall in love with it. I started getting into rooms in 2014 whenever we had our first convention for like our network marketing company. And I didn't really know why I was going to this thing. I just knew that my upline was like, you should go. And so I went in there and I was just around so many people doing so many different things. And it was so inspiring. And I got to see what was possible, not just on social media, but I got to talk to these people and they wanted to talk to me. And so I think one thing I love about where we are in, just our company is that I never felt like anyone looked at me for my age or where I was in the business and they never looked down on me. They never wouldn't talk to me. They like treated me like I was an equal. And so I'm super thankful for that because I got to see like a future for myself. And so I really think it was born in that probably 2012 to 2014 when I started teaching, started the business, and then I got into that room. And then any room I could get into from there, I was just like, I will be there. Like, I don't care how I have to be there. And so now I really try to get into a room every 3 months. If I can't travel, then I want to do something local. I am in Oklahoma. We don't really have a whole lot going on here, but I can travel to Dallas and do it. But I think getting to rooms, I know you know this, is just so powerful because if we're only in our environment, like we can only grow so much. When you get out of your environment and you see new people, you see what they're doing, it expands who you are, what you think you can do. And so I would say get in a room. And it's an overused term, but it is one that I think should honestly be talked about way more, and people need to adapt it because it's life changing, absolutely life changing.
Now, I would agree is getting in the rooms and like, I live in a small town and we don't have like everywhere, there's no events like this, like any of the events that I want to attend. There's nothing. And I can create it, but I don't think I'd have that much impact. And so I've done small events like vision board parties and things like that, but that's one of the things is like I will fly or drive to get myself into a room, and also virtual, if I can attend a virtual type of group coaching and things like that. Those are things that I also think are very positive and very impactful. And I also like how you shared it doesn't matter your age, your race, any of those things. Is that when you get with your like-minded people, you have a mission, and you're growing, you're working for something, and those people who are working towards a mission, it's just so great to be around them. In fact, this last convention that we had went to, I was looking at it as already knowing that I was going to start, like finally, because I talked about my podcast starting, waiting almost a year. It was a year till I started, but I was really like focused, and I made it down to actionable tasks on. I already knew the name and who I was going to. It was like I had defined its mission statement, and then I was like, okay. So then it had me when I was in conversations talking to people that I didn't really don't only see virtually and I hadn't seen in person for a while. It was like just hearing their story or remembering something about what they were doing. And it was like, okay, you're doing this. I would love to talk to you, like have you on my podcast and share with them, share them with my audience. It was such just a very impactful type of a way of looking at it. It's like, how can I share this person's mission, or how can I share this person's purpose that they have right now? And just looking at those things, I mean, it was it was great. So
I love that. That's awesome.
so What else would you like to share with my audience today? What goes on your heart right now?
I think what I would want them to know is that there's not another thing that they have to do to be able to start. I think messy action is the best action. I just shared with Angelina before we started recording that I will be launching a fitness app this year, and I just chose to do that yesterday, and it's something that I've wanted to do for over 10 years. And like, do I know how to do that? No. But guess what, guys? It's like I said earlier, YouTube is amazing and it's free. You can figure out anything on there. So I know that there are people that want to do things and they're scared to put themselves out there. They think, well, there's already 1,000 of me doing that thing. Or will anyone even care? And I will tell you guys, yes. I would ask you to think about the people that you watch on social media that you like. I'll be honest, like nothing is new under the sun. So I promise you there's a place for you. The worst thing you could do is get everything ready and post a couple times, or you put yourself out there a couple times and you're like, man, it didn't take. I don't know if you guys know who Alex Earl is, but maybe you're like, man, I didn't blow up like her. Okay. If you go back and look, it took her a long time. So be okay with the journey and just be consistent and just tweak along the way. But if it's in your heart, it's not random. So I would just say, you know, get your plan together, but just go along for the ride and see where it takes you. If you had told me at 19, this is where I would be at 30, I would be like, there's no way. There's no way. Number one, I thought I would move out of Oklahoma. Let's just start there. But I'm happily ish in Oklahoma with my amazing husband and our two dogs. But, life is funny and the journey is funny. So just embrace it because, like, you're going to be able to help so many people. And so I would just give you that encouragement today.
I love that you say that. In fact, I just read yesterday a quote from James Clear, who writes Atomic Habits, and the quote says, "The first minute of action is worth more than a year of perfect planning." So it's just it ties into what you just said, and this you just got to take the action. You got to take the step, and it's also going to be a journey, and there's going to be ups and downs, and that's what life's all about. There's not a perfect roadmap to get to A to Z. You're going to have ups and downs, and that again goes back to the lessons that God's teaching you. Where do you have to grow? Where do you have to improve? Like everything happens for a reason, and there's things that we have to learn from that lesson, and you have to embrace the lessons learned, and that you just have to keep moving forward. I also can say that I never thought I'd be where I'm at today. I never thought I would have a voice. I had grown up a lot of my life thinking that I didn't matter, my voice didn't matter. And now I love to talk and I love to share, and it's so amazing to see I meet a lot of different people, and they, within the last year, and they're like, man, you're just so talkative. And it was like there was so long that I was scared to even use my voice. And it's going through that growth journey and learning how to heal from traumas in your past, and the things that you went through in life, where you can truly shine. And I think that's really important, is going through that healing journey, growing, and knowing, like what you said, your worth, and knowing that it doesn't matter if 1,000 other people are doing it. God put it on your heart for a reason, and you can't ignore that gut feeling that you should do what you are set out to do. There's a reason God put it on your heart, and it's that gut feeling. And you're probably so excited like that when you get that, like, hey, you should do this, you should start this fitness app. I'm sure you're like, what, God? But he puts it on your heart for a reason, and it's just so exciting to see. I can't wait.
I'm excited. It's going to be fun. All the things he loves to drop, I'm just like, are you sure? Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, just like you said, it's for a reason. So, yeah, it's been awesome.
And I'm a numbers person, but I can tell you I do not know what the population of the world is today. But I know that there's, it doesn't matter. I'm always finding that there's somebody else who may have not heard of certain things, or they don't know how to do, like, there's so many, like, there's a reason why there's 1,000 coffee chains out there, or all these other things, is because it has to meet the population needs, and there's someone who's going to need that fitness app, and not everybody is the right teacher for everybody. So there may be people, I'm a coach and I may not be the right coach for somebody, but there's another coach who might work for them. And I think that that's also, something to like not be scared that you are not going to meet. I would rather target a few people than target everyone, because I want to make sure that I'm really good for the people that I'm coaching and teaching.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that's amazing. Well, I'm so thankful for having you here. Just sharing, and you guys have heard it here first on this podcast, that she is not only starting her podcast soon, so look for that in about a month. She's also going to be starting her fitness app. And if you need any thing, I'll have it in the show notes as well. If you need any social media coaching, she's amazing. She's going to help you. She's going to guide you. And she offers a very affordable solution. And so if this is something you're looking for, reach out to Jordan, because she's amazing. She's not only, like I said, an amazing friend. She was very shy when we first met, but once you get to know her, actually quickly, when you get to know her, you realize what a radiant person she is. I'm so thankful. I can truly say she's one of my best friends. She's awesome. So follow her. So yeah, follow her. I'll leave all my notes, all your info in the show notes. And I just thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Refine and Shine. We hope you find valuable insights and inspiration to fuel your journey of continuous improvement. Remember, the key to success lies in refining your processes and letting your inner brilliance shine. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated and helps us reach more listeners like you who are eager to refine and shine in all areas of life. Stay connected with us on social media for updates and additional resources and behind-the-scenes content. We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to reach out with any suggestions, questions, or success stories you'd like to share. As we wrap up, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Keep striving for growth, embracing change, and seeking opportunities to refine your skills. Together, let's continue to shine bright and make a positive impact in the world. Until next time, keep refining and keep shining.